So thank you for joining Toxin Magazine. I am here with Lynden Gordon. Now tell me a little about who you are and what you do in Rochester, New York.
My name's Lynden Gordon. As Shanique said, I'm just a local Rochesterian, born and bred here, roots from Jamaica, father Jamaican. I'm just a regular guy. I relax, keep to myself. That's it. There's not much to me. I'm very low key. I don't really have. That's it. I'm easy. I'm simple.
So you always call us when you have an issue, and I'm always excited to bring issues to light, especially when they impact our community. So first off, I want to ask you, as a Black man, how has it been navigating through this society that looks at you as inferior?
Oh, Shanique. Navigating through this society and being a Black man, and then especially being a Black man who's of darker skin tone, because we also deal with that too. A lot of times, racist individuals will favor you a little bit more if you're lighter than if you're darker, but all the same, it's drama. Being a Black man in this society and have to navigate has been something, is one of the reasons that I stay low key and I stay to myself. Just trying to just move where I can move, where it's no drama at and things are clear. And even taking those type of techniques to get through, a lot of times they still do not work. We have a society where all Black people are deemed hostile and volatile and problematic across the board. And then being a Black man is now like the people are, just because of my color, we have the opposite side of the spectrum, the color spectrum, don't want to associate because of my skin, don't want to give me certain opportunities because of my skin, don't value me as a human because of my skin, not taking a chance to get to know how my mind works, how my heart is conditioned, not paying any of that, any attention at all. The true things that matter, they completely dismiss. And because of my skin, I don't matter. I don't care. And I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent. I'm not talented. Oh, because they see the skin, they automatically jump to those conclusions automatically. Oh no, he's not well informed. Oh no, he doesn't have all the information. Oh no. Oh no, no, oh no. That couldn't have happened. No. Let's just recheck what Mr. Gordon said, because that couldn't be. Like all these second guesses, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and 100th guesses, where someone on the same side of that spectrum they share doesn't even have to go through it. Doesn't get promoted just for being the same color. Won't have the the background for certain positions, the educational training, the certificates or the degrees, and they get promoted automatically. As where us as African Americans, and also some minorities experience this too, other minority races, where they have to fight 20 times as hard as our Caucasian counterparts for the same exact position. We be many times overqualified for positions and still won't get them because they judge us based on our color.
Now tell me the first time you knew that your color played a role in how people treated you.
First time, this happened so much, I don't even really could give you a first time. I'm just trying to think. I don't even know as the first time. I'm thinking because like as a kid, my parents, you know, they raised all of us to just be strong, self-sufficient, secure. So it had to be maybe just as I got an adult, because really as like a kid, a teenager, I didn't really start getting it realizing what the world was, because I wasn't raised in that way to think, oh, you know what I'm saying, it's this white and black thing. We wasn't raised. We was raised to work and do. That's what my
Okay.
parents raised us, just to work and do. Don't worry
Mhm.
about, don't blame nothing on nobody else. You handle you, and you work and you move forward. So that's the upbringing I have. And that's the training all my brothers and sisters got. Like, you work and you do what you got to do. And the color never came up, because we always taught it's not about who else out there. It's about you doing what you're supposed to do.
Mhm.
Focus and do what you're supposed to do. You don't have to worry about nothing else. But as I, not, like I said, I can't give you an exact time, but as I got older, and actually what I think it might have been, I know I was working for Kodak, probably maybe like 2005 or so. And I think somewhere around there, when I really started getting into the work world like that, I start noticing differences. I start noticing things like, if I'm late, it's a problem. But my Caucasian counterpart is late, been late more times than me, and nothing said. So
Right.
little things like that just started to happen. And you kind of really, at first, you know, you kind of don't really pay any attention. And then as it keeps going, it just keeps elevating and getting greater and greater. And then the more you maneuver and work in this world, you know, because as a kid, you know, well, when we grew up as a kid, it was kind of different, because we just, now kids now have all this social media, so they can branch out to different areas of the world and they're exposed to more.
Mhm.
But when we grew up as a kid, we were sectored in our own areas. So whoever was
Right.
a part of that world, you didn't get exposure to all these different discriminatory actions. We didn't live that. We
Right.
didn't really know about it in that depth. But as you got older and start moving into the workforce, and really as you became an adult and start having to handle business on your own, is where you start learning that, yeah, there's a difference.
Mhm. Mhm.
Probably in my 20s, if I had to pick a time, that's about when I start getting it. And now it's just the way of life, it looks like at this point.
So when you think about the image that many Black men have, you kind of dispel those images, right? Have you been to prison?
Never been to prison, never been to jail. I don't even have parking tickets. Like, you know, I'm just kind of one of those. Like, I'm definitely a lively person, you know, I love to dance and stuff like that. But as I've gotten older, I've always been like a low key individual anyway. But just as I got older, just kind of like, and just with the nature of where our society and life is going,
Mhm.
some things that we used to do 10 years ago, can't do now. I mean, you really have to take your life in consideration. It's just where the world is going. So that's part of it too. Like, you know, getting older and just being wiser and smarter, you know. But just kind of just being a chill, relaxed individual and just kind of staying there. Like,
Right. Now, you recently contacted us about an issue with an attorney that you had about a personal injury
yes.
lawsuit that you had. Now, tell us a little about what happened.
So well, first what it was my worker comp case. It was worker comp injury I sustained at work. Um Nothing seems strange, you know, initially. The regular, you know, you go to doctor's appointments, take out of work, you get a lawyer, the lawyer represents you, whatever. Um, so that case had been going on for a while. Um, the best place to jump in, I'm just gonna jump in. We had an issue. So with worker comp, we have an injury. You see your doctor, and then the claim adjuster, in my case, it was Sedgwick. They set up a doctor's appointment for you to see their doctor, so their doctor can kind of just see where I hurt my knee and my right knee and my right foot, and so their doctors just put, you know, check out to see how much rate of disability you have, check out your injuries. So I'm just moving the story up. So we're at the end where now it's time to close out the case. And you know, and when what typically happens when you get ready to close out the case is you receive a settlement offer, and based upon your rate of disability, and that's determined by what your doctor says, and then if the carrier wants you to see a doctor, to have their doctor examine you, they will, and then they'll base it off of what that doctor says. So typically what happens is the worker comp board will take the two numbers if they're unagreeable, if they don't match. They'll take your doctor's number and the IME doctor, which is the doctor the insurance carrier hires. And what they'll do is they'll split it in the middle. That's typically how it goes in everybody's case. They'll do a split in the middle. And that's fair. That's a fair way to do things. Granted, I don't like the fact that your appointment with the IME doctors a lot of times is shorter than yours. Like my appointment to get evaluated was about maybe 2 hours between my doctor and the physical therapist on hand to evaluate, to get my loss of, they call it loss of use numbers. The IME doctor from the insurance carrier, that appointment was right under 15 minutes. So you're basing 2 hours worth of work between a doctor and a physical therapist to about 13 minutes some change from just one doctor. But nevertheless, fine, that's the process. So what happens, they send out a report. So in my case, I did my doctor, got examined, then seeing their doctor, they used a doctor by the name of Dr. Thomas Hare. He examined me. So he did it December 28th of 2021. We got his report back maybe 10 days later. I reviewed the report, riddled with lies. The report was riddled with lies. So mind you, I'm jumping the gun. I had the appointment videotaped because you legally can record your doctor's appointments, with IME doctor or your doctor, but especially the IME doctors, the board says you have the legal right to video record the sessions, the doctor's appointments. So I did that. And Tonya Eddington, she came in for me, videotaped the session just to make sure, as another, try to keep things checks and balances.
Right.
And so when we got the report back, I had the video, I'm reading through the report. I said, this doctor is lying. Like he's literally lying in this report. He said he measured me times when he didn't measure, amount of times he did not measure. And according to the worker comp rules and guidelines, a certain amount of measurements that's supposed to take on each extremity. The number is 3. He did my knee twice and my right knee twice and my right foot once. He's supposed to do each one 3 times. Then he put in there in the report, he had about between 12 to 14 other measurements that he never took, but he listed them in his medical report. Now, mind you, we have the video proof showing he didn't do these things he said he did. Okay, so that's that. So now the next step is you bring this to your lawyer's attention. Then my lawyer, the video, he said, okay, my lawyer actually stated when he watched the video, he felt like Dr. Hare did not want to touch me, his exact words. I said, I never got that, but okay. So now what we do is they wanted me to take what I call the split down the middle, because the two numbers they're about 20% off. I'm like, his numbers aren't even in the same range as my doctor's numbers at 20% between the two. So I said, okay. So my lawyer said, well, they want to, split down the middle. I said, I'm not willing to do that because this doctor lied. And what I said to him was, I said, I want to fight. I want to fight this out because I'm not just going to take that. He lied in his report and we have the proof. They set up depositions. The Dr. Hare deposition was first, then it was my doctor's deposition next, about maybe 4 or 5 days later, maybe a week. They did the depositions. My lawyer called me. He did the deposition with Dr. Hare first, him and their Cedric's lawyer. He called me after the appointment, after the depositions. He said, okay, Mr. Gordon, well, I examined him, I cross-examined him, everything, it went well. I think we should just go ahead and go for what they're saying. And me thinking he did his job, I agreed to, okay, well, I'll tell you, if you did everything you were supposed to do. And in the 2, I forgot to mention, I made a highlighted list for my lawyer of all the inconsistencies that were in the medical report that the video uncovered. So that way, just to make his job a little easier. So I made bulletin points for him to like, so that way when he goes to do his cross examinations, he will have that information available, readily available. So that way it wouldn't be any confusion. And he already seen the video, but I'm someone, I like to dot all my I's and cross all my T's, and I'm my biggest advocate. So I'm always gonna micromanage anything that's concerning me, no matter who I put in place. I'm always gonna be circling around just to make sure everything is going according. So I gave him this paper, and since I gave him the paper, I thought he did everything he was supposed to do. And my lawyer name, because it needs to be said, he's Alex Osborne of Connor and Ferris. So Mr. Osborne called me and said, well, we did everything. I did the deposition. Dr. Hare was da-da-da. He was forthcoming, all these things. I said, okay, if that's the case, then I'll just go ahead and agree. I'm just tired of the back and the forth and the fighting. Right. But I was telling my lawyer that, I don't agree with this doctor lying. And I said, yes, this is about me, but this is bigger than just me, because how many other people have these doctors lied on? Right. And people who didn't know how to fight or didn't know the laws got shortchanged and treated unfairly. Right. And either lost their job because the numbers were incorrect, or didn't get the money they were supposed to get for their injuries that they were due. Right. So he said, oh, well, I said, I'm not okay with this doctor lying. I'm not. Oh, well, Mr. Gordon, it's this the first sign where I like, yeah, this lawyer is really showing me a different face now. He said, Mr. Gordon, this is not about morals. It's about tens of thousands of dollars. And I immediately said, you're wrong. I said, everything is about morals. And then I said, even in this situation, doesn't it make more sense? We have proof to get all the money that's due me, which means you get more money. Right. You even fight for that to you to get more money? I said, whatever. So we fought, did depositions. So now we're back at the depositions. I said, okay, I'll agree to the split down the middle. So that was in March. I did the depositions March. Yeah, it was March, end of March. So around end of April, in the beginning of May, early part of May, like 2nd or 3rd, it just came to me so what happened was when I took the settlement, the split in the middle, because I thought my lawyer, Mr. Osborne, did his job. They didn't have to do the deposition with my doctor, Dr. Masaba. Actually, my lawyer, Mr. Osborne, said, well, we don't know what your doctor's going to say. So he kind of was leaning me not to do it. And the whole time, he kept trying to make me take the split down the middle, which wasn't fair to me because the doctor had lied. Right. He kept pushing me in that direction. And then the last thing was, like, when I agreed to do it, he said, well, because we don't know what your doctor's going to say, it could cause you to lose more money. And I'm like, but we got proof that this doctor lied. So, but I'm thinking he did his job. So that's why I was agreeing to it. So I said, okay, fast forward from March. Now we're now beginning of May. It just came to me, to get just leadings, just to ask for the deposition. So I asked for deposition. It took them about a week to get it to me. I asked Mr. Osborne, because he sent me the deposition. They printed it all out, so you can just read everything that was said. The transcript. Yeah, transcripts. I'm reading it, and he's literally letting this doctor lie in the deposition and not challenging or even re-asking questions he knows that are lies. Like, one big one was he asked the doctor, how many times did you measure Mr. Gordon's right knee? The doctor said, if I didn't measure it more than once, it's because he was in pain. No, if I measured it more than once, he was in pain. If I only measured it once, because he was in pain. I said, that's not answering the question. The question was, how many times did you measure it? Because it's supposed to have been 3 times. If Mr. Gordon was in pain, I only did it once. I said, how's my lawyer, who watched the video, mind you, allowing this doctor to not answer a question? That's just one time. Another question he asked the doctor, He said, if I were to tell you that the session was video recorded, if Mr. Gordon video recorded, what would you say? I said, why would you ask him that? And I'm saying in my head in the report, why would we ask the doctor that? The doctor know it was recorded because we told his secretary we're recording. So I'm like, why not just say, so that felt like, did he even tell them about the video? But I found out later they did receive the video. So the insurance carrier and their lawyers. But then another lie. So he asked the doctor, he said, so how did you record, the numbers? Because the doctor listed in his report about 16 different number measurements over 4 body parts. He measured my right knee, right foot, and then he did the left knee and left foot for comparison to base the numbers off of that. So that's 4 body parts. You measure 4, you see that in the video, but in your report, you have about a total of 16 different measurements. But in your answer in the deposition, you say, if Mr. Gordon was in pain, I only measured once. But where do these 16 different numbers come from that's in your report? And then also, so then he asked them, because I put in one of my bullet points, I said, well, how did the doctor notate the measurements? Because I said, clearly in the video, you see nothing used, no pen, paper, a voice recorder, nothing. You see this. He's just moving. The doctor is literally just moving from body part to body part. Dr. Harrell's going from body part to body part measuring, not taking any numbers down. He put in the deposition, he did it with a pen and a pad. But when you watch the video, there's no pen or pad taken. There's no pen and pad in the videos from the time I walked in, before I walked in the office, to the time after I walked out. No pen and pad was used. And if it was used, it was clearly done after our appointment was over. But then how do you remember 16 different numbers? No one's brain is that good. You don't remember these numbers. And you didn't use a pad and a pen. Because you would get, how you get these numbers, I said, this is insane. So, such a long story. So that went on.
Why do you think the doctor would do that? Some people will question you that, with like, well,
clearly it's a race thing. And this just, if I take it based off, just one thing my lawyer did say that even caught me off guard was he said, it looked like Dr. Hare did not even want to touch you. Why not want to touch me? This is what my doctor observation was. And he was
your attorney.
My attorney, my old attorney, ex-attorney. Now,
okay, yeah.
This is what he said. Another Caucasian man about another Caucasian man. Not like it was a Black lawyer who was siding with. Why else would you not want to touch me? If you're a doctor, you have a Hippocratic oath to treat and take care of. The only thing that will cause you not to want to touch me is this. I wasn't smelly, disheveled, dirty. And even if I was, I'm a patient. You're a doctor. Those things have to be set aside.
Right. Exactly.
You put you some gloves on, you put you a mask on, and you get to work. If it is that situation, that's what you do. So it's a race thing. And the more and more I think about it and the way things have been going, because we've had other issues come up with this lawyer, it's like, you have an issue. And the one is, it's just sad because we're still living in a time where people are still trying to sweep certain things under the rug and they can't. It's right. A lot of races out there. It's a lot of Caucasians out there who feel that Black people aren't do certain things. And now these numbers are based, these medical numbers that you get in these doctor appointments determines how much money you walk away with at the end. They don't want you to receive a certain amount of money because they feel you don't deserve it. Because one, I've had doctors tell me, IME doctors from appointments, oh, nothing's wrong with you. You're big, you're muscular. Because I'm a Black man with muscles, I can't be in pain. I can't have a broken arm, a broken leg. I'm just supposed to suck it up because I'm still a human.
Right.
And that's the problem. A lot of these individuals that with this mindset, don't see us Black men or Black people, Black men or women or our children as humans. This is the whole problem. And I really don't know how we're ever gonna, I don't think we're ever gonna be able to completely eradicate it. That's why it's so vital for us as Black people to actually stand with each other. We have to, because if we don't, we're doomed. It's already happening. Just this case I'm going through, it's insane. So with the lawyer, I disputed what he was supposed to get paid. So we had to go to court for that. Actually, before that, I had a talk with him about the deposition. I told him, I said, you let the doctor skate. I said, you didn't ask, you let him not answer any questions. You didn't challenge any of the lies he was telling when you knew the truth. I said, you let him skate. He got mad and said, no one has ever tested my integrity. And I've been doing this for 20 years. I said, but sir, you have not did your job. That's it. You have not. So now mind you, I've been writing complaints to the worker comp board. I sent everything over to my file. I sent them the video of the doctor appointment. I sent them about 4 different letters complaining on the doctor and my lawyer, so that they will be aware of what's going on. Those are the steps they told me to take. So I went down those avenues and used them to no avail. We had a court case about what the lawyer was supposed to get paid. The judge awarded him everything, his whole pay, when he did not do his job. And the judge told me he skimmed on court documents. He said he skimmed through my file this morning. So you reviewed my case without properly looking at all the information, because it's flooded with information. I've had information since the end of December of 2021. On top of the information you have already, nothing was done. Judge David Lawler from the board, worker board, did nothing, didn't allow Mr. Osborne to receive his full pay. He was asking for when he did not do his job at all. I let that go. I made a complaint with the, let me just get you the name of it. I have it right here. So I made a complaint with the doctor, the New York State Department of Health OPMC Review Center. Now the worker comp board has a line, and it gives you all the numbers if you want to make a complaint against your doctor or your lawyer or a law judge. So I used the line that they provided.
Now give us that information in case somebody else is going through this similar issue.
So it would be, if you have an issue, you can either call with a doctor, a worker comp doctor. It would be the Department of Health. It's the Office of Professional Medical Conduct. And their number is actually the Mary Ann Farrow, the RN program director. Her number is 518-402-0820. And then the customer service line is 1-800-663-6114. So I received this letter saying they assigned it to an investigator for Dr. Hare. April 11th, I called them actually I called before I got the letter. So I probably called them the beginning of April, asked some questions like, what happens? The agent I got on the phone told me that if they find any wrongdoing, nothing is done. They said they do not report it to the worker comp board.
So wait, so if you file a grievance, nothing is done?
Her exact words was, nothing is done. Her exact words were, we don't tell worker comp board what's taking place. But your number's on the worker comp board's directory. And this is the outlet that they say we use to make a complaint if you have a complaint with a doctor.
Really?
Yes.
And do you think all of this, again, I have to ask this question because people will watch this and act. So do you think this is all related to race?
Yes. Where I'm sitting at and what I'm going through and just the way life is, yes, clearly. And it's always an exception to the rule with anything in life. But yes, this is race-based 150%, a million
Now,
percent.
so I have to play devil's advocate.
Yes.
What about the people who will say that it's just about incompetence on an attorney? Maybe the attorney didn't want to push the issue because he has other cases and he was just trying to get this over with.
Well, see, then that's a problem too. That's another problem because you're being paid to do your job. And if you're not doing it correctly, what would allow you not to do your job correctly when there's money involved? The only thing that has been historically proven is racism. It's the deciding factor in a lot of things that you would think, oh, no, that couldn't be. This lawyer decided not to fight for me properly, had all the proof. And then just a backstory, we had another case before this with a Hispanic doctor, and he did everything he was supposed to do. But now, there's a Caucasian doctor. Do you not want to fight? And this is actually way more money involved in this case. So I'm like, you don't want to see me. You're okay with me getting a certain amount of number, and you feel like I don't deserve any more because you feel that I've gotten enough. I've had, I spoke with Connor. It was either Connors or Ferris. I'm not sure. It was an issue I had with Mr. Osborne early on. It was about not expressing things in the case. And they told me, well, the amount of money you've got, you should be happy for. This is back like 2018. Why should I be happy for it? Because I sustained these injuries. There's nothing happy about it. Is rightfully was justly supposed to be mine.
Right.
That's it. It's not about being happy. But now we're moving forward now where you're not doing your job because you feel like I got enough money. And then I looked at it too. I thought more about it. I said, well, you know what? With him not doing his job caused me between $40,000 close to $50,000. But to him, he may only receive an additional 7, maybe 10, if that. Okay. Probably more on the lines of 5 to 7 additional thousand for him. But it would be 40, 45 to maybe 48,000 more for me.
Right.
So no motivation. I guess he felt like it just wasn't enough money for him to do his job. Not taking into consideration you were being paid to do your job and fight for me. When I challenged him about him not doing his job, he told me he fights for all his clients. You're lying, sir. You don't fight for all your clients because we have the proof to show that you didn't. I'm not reading receipts I made up. I'm reading things you said. I'm reading you guys' receipts that you sent to me. They're your receipts. And you did not do your job. You didn't. You allowed this doctor to lie. He already lied in his medical report. That's one set of lies. Now we get to the deposition, and now he's lying again. But the difference this time is you're on the case, my lawyer, and you're not defending me.
Right.
July 19th, we had court at 9 a.m. It was Judge David Lawler was the presiding judge of the case. Mr. Osborne and Ms. Ty was the Sedgwick Insurance Carrier's lawyer. And in that, we had that court case, and I'm just telling them, I told the judge, I said he didn't, he did not fight for me. He didn't. Oh no, he did. He did this. I said he did what he got to the stipulation. I said, Your Honor, I disagree. I have to respectfully disagree with you because the stipulation is not something he fought for me. That was offered from the very beginning.
Right.
But he didn't have to fight for the stipulations, what I call the split down the middle, where they take the two different numbers from my doctor and the IME doctor, and they average them. He didn't have to fight for that. That's what they do in everybody's worker comp case.
Right.
But it wasn't a fight. He didn't fight for me. And all the proof I sent in, you never looked at anyway, because he said himself, he skimmed through the record this morning. But I mean, well, you skimmed through, you didn't review any important information. You didn't get it. So you just, and because they're all buddies, we just have to be honest here. They all been, Mr. Osborne said he's been a lawyer for 20 years, been doing it for 20 plus years. You're buddies with everybody down there. They're all your friends. So you're going to act like the judge. You're going to act like you're fighting. You're doing what you're supposed to do. And you're going to be gracious and polite because it's being recorded and documented. You're not going to say your true feelings, but you're also not going to give me fair and due justice at all. And you didn't. And I told them that at the end. I said, this was not fair at all, and no one here did their job. And then, so the next step was I made a complaint with the Attorney Grievance Committee against Mr. Osborne. They wrote me a letter back. I'm just going to read this to you guys really quick, just the pieces of it. The letter was from the investigator, Kelly A. Page. Essentially, I was told not to repeat this letter again. They're not going to find anything wrong with Mr. Osborne. So actually, I'm jumping the gun. It's just so much. So I made a complaint about Mr. Osborne. I made that complaint with the board, but then also what Mr. Osborne did was, in our court case, he asked to be removed from all the cases because he was my lawyer for 2 previous cases. He asked to be removed off of those 2 as no longer to be the lawyer. Okay. And I said, okay with that because I wasn't going to go back to him for lawyer, for representation ever, just because the whole situation just got really, really bad. He was very hostile, angry on the phone when I spoke. I even had one point at the end, I couldn't even talk to him on the phone. I had to email him. He was too hostile on the phone. Like, you're mad because I'm telling you did not do your job, but you want to make me believe you did, and you want to fight me on that, but you didn't. So just didn't do your job. And so I wrote them a letter, one about him not representing me properly. Then I get in the mail a letter from Mr. Osborne. It was a new work log, and that's how they get paid. They print up the hours they spent on the case, phone conversation, 3 minutes, sent out medical reports to to the doctor or to the insurance carrier. So whatever work he did on my case is a log. So he did an updated log from 2018. Now, this law so that case was settled in 2018. Mr. Osborne is now trying to, let me get some background stories. So during that case, I felt like Mr. Osborne did not do his job again. And the amount of money he was asking for was more than what he did. He had my case for 3 years, close to about 3.5 years. He only did 76 hours on my case in 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So ask for a certain amount of money that you didn't work for. So I told the judge this when we went to court for the settlement hearing. The judge took away $4,500 from him and gave it back to me because of that complaint.
Oh,
this is
okay.
important. Now, right. Now that's 2018 December. That case was closed out.
Now, wait, before we go forward, when you talk about this case, just so everyone is clear, so these were 3 different cases, or are they all connected?
The way they're connected is it's the same job and it's the same lawyer, Mr. Osborne.
Okay, but it's all 3 different incidents.
3 different incidences, yes.
Okay.
With the same Sedgwick insurance carrier and then the same lawyer, Mr. Osborne from Connor and Ferris.
Okay.
So now, so the case was closed out in 2018. It was settled out. So he got his money, I got my money. That it was done.
Okay.
So he sent in this new report saying that back then he did about $4,000 more worth of work that he never got paid for. Now, mind you, nothing's been said all these years. Nothing. But because now we've on bad terms, and because of what the things he's done, now he's retaliating against me, saying that if I have any future worker comp cases, that he would like he asked for $4,000, the same number, close to the same number the judge took from you back in 2018. He wants that to be paid to him. And then he sent an updated work log. You haven't worked on that case since 2018. So what I found in that case was he was doing things for, so once the case is settled out, that's it. There's no more work for the lawyer to do unless you have to go back in and have some legal things go on. But
Okay.
pretty much after that, it's just you and your doctor working with the insurance company. Like, I mean, if you have like mileage or something, your lawyer will have to send that in. But outside of that, and I was sending in my own mileage. I wasn't, because I can do it myself. So I didn't use my lawyer for that. I was sending my own. But outside of that, once the case is closed, unless you have some legal things going on in there, everything else is medical, and that's handled strictly between you, your doctor. And if you have an issue with the insurance carrier not want to cover certain medical things, then you reach out to your lawyer. But if
Okay.
everything's going smooth, there's no need. And I didn't have no need for him to reach out. So what I found out what he was doing was he was trying to ask for a payment for a body part, my left hand, that was in the first case, but it got written up in the stipulation that if it doesn't get paid out now, we can't pay out on it later.
Okay.
So he tried to drum up a case for my left hand when he wasn't supposed to. So now you're illegally doing things. It was written up in the stipulation that you basically, the stipulation just said, just for layman's terms, left hand, because it didn't get paid out in the original case, you can't get paid out on it after the case is settled out. That's what the stipulation says. So why would you now try to get money for that after the fact, years later, and now you're using that
Right.
tip? You wasn't supposed to try to get money for that hand anyway, because it was written up in the stipulation that said you couldn't.
Wow.
So now you're trying to extort me to get this $4,000 out of me for work that you didn't do. Couldn't go nowhere. It was written up in the stipulation. So anything if you tried to do, that was on you. You weren't supposed to. So now you're breaking the law right there. So I wrote the attorney grievance committee. I wrote them the first regular complaint letter. And then when I seen that paper in the mail, I wrote them another one saying he's trying to extort me now for $4,000.
And how is this? Is this still an ongoing situation?
Yeah, I guess then they have a court case. Nobody has reached out to. So what happened was, so I wrote them a letter about those two complaints, Mr. Osborne. They wrote me a letter stating pretty much nothing will be done to Mr. Osborne at all. Nothing about mishandling my case, not representing me properly, and him extorting me. That wasn't even mentioned. So what they said was, this is just a piece of it, and they told me not to read this due to not to share this with anyone or any other proceedings due to certain codes, legal codes. I never signed an NDA, and these legal codes don't apply to me. I'm not a lawyer. It's my personal issue that I have that's going on with this lawyer, and no one, the sources and the board, once again, their numbers on the board's directory to call if you have an issue with your lawyer, and I did. But once again, now these people are located at 50 East Avenue, Suite 404, and they're the attorney grievance committee. They're all friends. They all work in this world together. They're all friends.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, that this will acknowledge the receipt of your complaints concerning the above reference attorney. Staff counsel has reviewed your letter and determined that no action by this office is warranted. Not that they won't take none, it ain't nothing there to do nothing about, because they say ain't nothing happened. Mind you, the 2 long letters I sent them about him wrongfully representing me and then now extorting me. Then, please understand that this office investigative authority does not extend to reviewing complaints. Then why I was referred here. About an attorney's strategy or exercise of professional judgment. He should always be exercising professional judgment properly. And this is not about strategy. It's about he clearly did not say anything to this doctor. He knew he was lying.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right for someone. So they're just downplaying everything as if I'm crazy or I'm delusional when it's all facts. It's not my facts. It's a deposition. This words came out his mouth, not mine.
Right.
I'm just reading his deposition.
So what recourse do you have if the grievance department or the people who you're supposed to write these complaints to are telling you we can't do anything, even though that's the department you're supposed to contact?
One of the reasons why I really want to just have you help me with this and try to bring some light to this is to try to get help. because I'm still on the move to go down any avenue I can to get some form of justice. Because this is, and even in the letter, they're bullying me, telling me I can't say nothing, I can't do anything in any proceedings. Like, how can I not do anything? This lawyer has completely and totally been completely horribly racist, just with his attitudes and behaviors, and not doing his job at all. Like, not valuing me as a human. And I thought maybe, okay, if he has an issue with me, the fact that, he's getting paid would prompt, I was wrong. It looked like my color, the color again, had that magic effect. Like, oh no, no help.
So what would you like to see happen to this attorney, to this doctor? What would you like to see happen to them?
I want them, one, to be called out on what they're doing wrong. That's first. Because the thing is, in something, I don't know what the procedures are as far as what their punishments should be. I mean, really, in this case, what I'm thinking, disbarment, revoking the doctor's medical license because you're relying on medical documentation. These are the things that should happen. So yeah, I guess that I'm looking for that. Because the thing is, individuals like this are a detriment to us as African Americans, minorities, and any other race. If they have this type of character set, eventually it's going to creep out in other areas with other races because they're not quality human beings. To take the oaths they take, to be the ones that are supposed to fight for you and do their job and protect you, that's their job. They're not doing it. And I feel they're not doing their job in this. I feel like it's based upon my skin color.
What else would you like people to know about this experience, about your experience as a Black man? What do you think is the most important part of this issue?
Do your homework. Fight. Don't just take what they say. Get second, third, fourth, and fifth opinions. Don't get comfortable. You can't ever get comfortable. You have to be your biggest advocate. You have to be. And you have to be your biggest secretary. You got to get on top of everything. Yeah, your lawyer handle it. Okay. Have talks with him or her. Ask them, what did they do? Okay, what does this process mean? Okay, so if you file this paper, what does that paper do? And if that one doesn't work, then what's our recourse? You have to be on them just like that. Stay on top of their back because no one's going to protect you better than you. And they're put in these positions and they're supposed to protect you and they're supposed to fight for you and you're paying them. They still won't. They still won't at all.
Now, do you recommend recording your attorney?
Oh, definitely record your attorney. By law, you can record all your IME doctor appointments for worker comp board. The board gives you that right. You can record all of them. So record every last one because it's another safeguard. Had I not recorded what took place in that doctor's appointment on December 28th of 2021, everything I'm doing now, it would be gone. They would get they think they've gotten away now, but I'm in the middle of it. Some change is going to come. But if I did not have that video, if I did not have that proof, I would have nothing.
Now, are you willing to release that video?
Yeah, it's out on you.
I wonder if it will be like just to show what happened with this doctor. I don't know. Is that something we should add to this?
Yeah, we definitely can. I think it would be important for people to see along with his medical report. But see, the thing is, and where I said no one's doing their job, a lot of these things, if you look at them in single file, they mean nothing.
Right. But
you have to the whole picture because they're joined together.
Right.
So what you do is you look at the doctor's medical report. You're like, oh, okay. Now that alone, you think it's upstanding and correct. But then you pair it with the video, you see, oh, there's nothing but lies. Now we do the deposition because that's where your lawyer is supposed to fight for you at. Okay, your lawyer tells you he's fought for you. Now you pull the deposition and you see the doctor's lying again and the lawyer is allowing him to lie. Oh, okay. Now You posted, they give you the numbers and the avenues where you make complaints. And now these people are saying, oh, we don't do nothing, or nothing can be done, or no matter what you said in your letters, we are saying nothing happened. So what you say doesn't really matter.
See, that's why I think having the video of the doctor and what your attorney said, that he looked like he didn't want to touch you, maybe that is going to show for other people. Like you're a professional, you're a doctor, and you're making it seem or making people it appear that you don't want to touch a patient.
And that's what he said. And that's what my lawyer watched the video. That's what he told me, because I maybe I didn't get it because I was in the middle of it.
Right.
And I kind of I'm still looking for it. But maybe he just picked up something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, the doctor actually tried to be very polite. But of course, what else would you do on video? You wouldn't be rude.
Right.
But all that quote unquote good behavior and good nature and that good bedside manner you were acting like you were giving off, when you wrote your report, it showed that none of that truly existed because you lied throughout your whole report.
Yes.
And you said things took place that didn't. You didn't do measurements. You said you did these measurements, you said you didn't. Like, that's you lying on a medical report. So how can that be okay?
Mm-hmm.
I take your numbers. I'm the one injured here. I'm the injured party. And so now, because you feel like I don't deserve a certain amount of money, you downplay my disability and my injuries.
I wonder, should we reach out to this grievance department and ask them, like, how are your grievance department, and you're saying no action can be done? Is this typical? Like, what are usually the consequences when people file complaints?
Yeah, because I would like to know, because I called and left a message for Miss Kelly A. Page. I left her a message, so I want to discuss the letter. That was about 2 weeks ago. Never called me back.
I think we should do some digging into this, because why should there be a grievance department? Why is there a grievance department with no action? Right? Okay, I could see if they said, we don't see anything wrong with the steps that this attorney took, but I don't know. That would be interesting to find out.
Try to reach out. I would like to reach out to Dr. Hare to see if he would like to right his wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And say, you know what? I did just copy the numbers from your doctor and made up my own.
But of course he wouldn't say that. He wouldn't admit to it.
Yeah, but I want you to, because be honest. I
mean, you have the video.
I have the video. It's showing you did not do these things. Yeah. I'm not giving this video to everyone. The worker comp board. And that's another issue I have. The board hasn't did anything. Their judge allowed Mr. Osborne, Mr. David Lawler. Mr. Osborne got whatever he asked for. You have all this information. You didn't review it. You said you skimmed it. I'm reaching out to all these sources and no one's doing anything. The system they put in place for us to use, no one's doing their job. I've notified everyone. Sedgwick, the insurance carrier, my claim adjuster who handles the case, Kelly Hogan, she has the video. You think she would say, you know what? Let's not take that doctor's information because we have some issues. So let's just have him re-evaluated.
Right, exactly.
I even wrote that in a letter and asked the board if they could do that, because I wasn't opposed to doing that.
Okay.
It's just
they wouldn't do anything.
They didn't touch it. They never wrote me back, said nothing about it. No one has contacted me back on anything. I tried to get in contact with Dr. Hare. I couldn't. I called my claim adjuster, Kelly Hogan. She said, oh, we don't have his information. But how did y'all set the appointment up for him to examine me?
What is his, maybe we can look him up too. What's his name again? Well, you can give him whatever you want us to have. We're going to try to, I think, research it.
Yes, Dr. Thomas Hare.
Okay, Hare,
H-A-H-E-R.
Okay.
And just across the board, it's been a wall. Every avenue that I'm supposed to use, I utilize it, and no one does anything. They are allowing this doctor to lie. And now we've gotten to the point where this lawyer already has been crooked and corrupt. And now they're allowing him, with this grievance committee, is allowing him to take me to court. We're waiting on the court date now for him to see if he could get awarded the extra $4,000 he lied about getting and that he wrongfully tried to get. And they're trying to stick that on me.
Right. Yeah, we definitely have to look in. And so they're scheduling a court date for that?
It's in process, yeah. We're waiting to hear back. And I wrote a letter to the board telling them about the extortion and why we shouldn't be going down that avenue. Like, and so now it's like and I told him he's retaliating against me.
Right, and you made a complaint.
Against him.
Right.
You didn't do
some digging. Yeah, this is, I think that there are a lot of people who experience this when it comes to race and racism, things that happen, especially with doctors. They don't talk about it enough. It's important. You have to talk about it. And the only way we can do that is stories like this. We have to tell the community what happened, what your experience was. And I'm sure other people have experienced the same thing.
And that's one of the other reasons why I want to do this, because I want people to come out and speak and share their stories so we can get together and get some help, because nothing's going to change if nothing changes.
Right. You have to be vocal.
Get together on this and speak out and know that what took place to you, what happened, and whatever level of this worker comp thing it was in, whatever stage you were in, or if it was just the doctor, your lawyer was phenomenal, but your doctor was horrible, or vice versa, but your lawyer wasn't. Wherever you fall at in this worker comp spectrum of nonsense, speak out about it, because it's help out there. And I'm hoping that this will bring help, not just for me, but everybody who goes through it. You know, people of color and all races. This has to be, we can't keep living in a society where we keep letting certain things get more light than others. And this is kind of one of the things that have gotten completely and totally swept under the rug. No one talks about the injustice that goes on in these type of things with the worker comp board, the lawyers, and it'd be your lawyer.
Your lawyer, yes.
Your lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah. The doctors, the IME doctors, even some, if you have an issue with your doctor, I haven't experienced that side of it, but I know it's relevant. I know it happens.
Yes.
So it's time for something to be done. And I said, with everything in me, my last breath, I'm not going to stop till a change at least get started.
Right. Exactly. Well, we're here for you. I'll edit this up and you'll take a look at it, and then we try to insert that video.
Yes.
Get people talking, and we'll revisit this issue, let's say, when you have the court date for this attorney.
So we don't have it yet. So I'm just waiting, because he sent all the information over to the board requesting the judge, and the board to look at it.
Okay.
Paperwork too. I have all the paperwork.
Okay.
I sent everything, document everything. So we're just waiting on that. But like I said, I sent in my letter in objection to that and telling them where this is really stemming from.
Right.
It's because I owe him $4,000 because the case was closed in 2018 and has never been opened back up since. So how did you do more work? But the work what I found did was on the body part he was not supposed to do any work on, because it already was settled out.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. Now, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap this thing up?
I think, Shanique, really just everyone, I'm just here trying to get everyone held accountable, because across the board, it's been a collection of mishaps, and that's just being nice.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a collection across the board, from the worker comp IME doctor, Dr. Thomas Hare, to Alex Osborne from Connor and Ferris, from Sedgwick, their claim adjuster Kelly Hogan, to the lawyer they had in the case, Miss Tao, right up to the worker comp board, the judge, David Lawler, even down to the committees, because I have to name everyone. I have to give everybody their recognition in this mess, and it's only fair.
Right.
We're going to speak truth, and we're going to speak to everyone involved, even down to Miss Kelly A. Page from the Attorney's Grievance Committee, and she's an investigator. right up until we get to, let me get it, I'm almost there, to the Department of Health, the Office of Professional Medical Conduct, even down to Miss K. Broderick, RN, registered nurse, investigator. No one has did anything.
Right.
These letters are April 11th. Last time I heard from them. That's the Department of Health. August 23rd, that's newer. That's from the grievance committee. But all these people that have been named have taken a piece of this story and added more drama and made it worse. They elevated the stress, the harmfulness of it, the detriment of it. Like, they all added something to it. As I moved down, trying to get help, each step that I thought was help turned out not to be help. But you were supposed to be there to help. So I'm just trying to figure, if I'm dealing with a system, and I'm taking this whole system, I'm talking about every part I just named, that's predominantly white, each part. I'm the only one thing that's different. I'm the only Black person that's in each part of this, except for Kelly Hogan. So, like I said, predominantly Black, predominantly white. No one in here is going to do what's right, nowhere through. And I feel it's because I'm Black. That's the only difference. Because they're all friends, they share something in common that I don't share with them, and that's my skin color. And that's historically been a problem for us, for African Americans. That's just what it is. And I know people want to say, oh, race, race, race. But the thing about it, we have to truly understand that race is really, if there's any indifference, discrepancies, or issues between Black and white, it's always a race issue. Whether they feel, oh, I feel so bad for them, let me help. You don't feel bad because I'm going through something. You feel bad because I'm Black and I'm going through it. You feel like, oh, because he's Black or she's Black, let me help. Because it's someone who's down and out. That may be in there, but your first move is because it's Black. Or if you want to help me, it's because I'm Black. These are solid facts of life. I'm not making this up. This is how the world is set up. And I'm just someone who's trying to live in it. And like you said, navigate through it the best of my ability so I can live a halfway decent life. Because no one Black on this planet, especially in the US, is able to live a completely comfortable and free life. Because we wake up every morning in the skin, and this skin is a problem for them.
Okay, perfectly said. And again, I thank you for coming to us with your story. And we will definitely work on this and get this out here, get it out there. And I think this is a great start. I definitely think you said a lot of stuff. And I think that people can relate to this. That's why I wanted it to be relatable, you know.
Yeah. I'm just someone, Shanae, I have to say thank you so much for having me and helping me in doing this. You're really vital, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. But I'm not someone that looks for handouts. I'm not that type of individual like, oh, woe is me.
Right.
I'm not that person at all. And I'm really calm, and rarely do I speak up because I'm someone who I suck it up and keep moving. But what stuck out to me was, it was me, but like I told my lawyer and he got angry about it, it's bigger than just me. How many other people, especially people of color, have been through this same thing, who don't have the fight in me, in them that I have in me, who don't review things or study things like I do, who don't, they're lost in what they're able to do and how they're able to protect themselves. And another big thing before we go, I really need a case study done, just like how they did with housing appraisals between Black owners and Caucasian owners. I want to know how many people of color versus Caucasians with the same disability, but how many Caucasians got more than the African Americans got. with the
Oh
same
goodness, don't make me
ability.
go digging. That's something I have been digging in numbers for the last few years, and some of this stuff is hard to get. But that might be something we need to work on to see if there is a huge difference.
Disparity. It's a disparity.
Yes, if there's a disparity.
It's there because I'm living it. I'm
Mhm.
living it. So I want to see how many people of color versus how many Caucasians, what's the rate of their pay for the same exact injury?
That's a good. Now work on. Let me make a note of that. That is something that we could try to look into because those numbers are somewhere.
But they're somewhere. And I'm quite sure they're highly guarded.
Yes, they don't want those numbers released because then again, there's no debate. Like there isn't. You can't debate once those numbers are released. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Once you have those numbers in hand.
People lie, numbers can't lie.
No, they can't. They can't.
2 + 2 is always going to.
Right, exactly. So you tell me if it's systemic, this systemic thing is going to be able to show what's happening. But I'm sure nobody, I wonder if people ask for those numbers.
Because it's definitely systemic. Oh.
Yes, of course, of course. Oh.
That's another disparity that we've been dealing with secretly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people.
We got to expose it, and we have to expose it, and we have to, like, again, that's why I try to make sure that I cover issues that severely impact our community. These are things that impact our community that we don't talk about. We talk about these professionals. I remember one time when this woman said that, like white professionals are, they're educated, so that's why they're not racist. And then you see the Capitol Hill situation where you have nothing but a whole bunch of doctors and lawyers and a whole bunch of people, educated people.
Then the other thing that's insane about this, so I have to interject this because it's just coming to me. So this whole system that we've been raised in, all of us, has been designed to keep us down. They don't want to relinquish power to us at all. They don't want us to have funds, education, none of those things. So dealing with these worker comp cases, these cases are hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Do you know if you get the right payment, your right numbers, and they're not fudged and they're not low rated, what that amount of money could do to change you and your family's life after you sustained an injury or been hurt or became disabled due to it? So they stop it. They lower these numbers because this is life-changing money.
Yes.
Change someone's life. That can literally take someone off the street and put them into a mansion, literally.
Right.
No, they don't want that type of power. The system that be don't want us to have that type of power. And this is just one way they're doing, this is one of the avenues they use to keep us in that box they like to keep us in. Because with this amount of money, you can do whatever you need to do for you and your family. You can build generational wealth off one real worker comp case.
Right.
And you've earned, you went through, you got injured. And it's not like, oh, I'm planning to get hurt and I'm gonna go. You people really, I've had coworkers getting surgeries done in their back. They had to go through one of my coworkers' neck to fix her back from worker comp injury. That woman didn't want to do that, and she's not faking that injury to get money, and then didn't get paid out properly at all. And then from what she told me, and we need to do a really big discussion, she said the doctor that reviewed her, the IME doctor, wasn't a real doctor. And they left it just like that. They sent her and left it at that. Never opened the case back up, reevaluated, none of that.
Wow.
So these are the things that we really have to fight against and make a change on.
Yes. Well, we will work on that together. And I'm excited to get everything together for you.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And we will move forward. And I will talk to you whenever you want to send the video. Text me, call me, whenever.
Yeah, I was send whatever you need to send. But thank you so much, Miss Shanique Bird. Love you and Toxic Magazine.
You are welcome. Thank you. I will talk to you soon.
All right, ma'am. You take care. Stay.
Thank you too. Bye.
You're welcome. Thank you.